So I actually believe that this type of mindset and these thoughts are really, really bad. And for the most part, I don't agree with them. I definitely don't believe that like all women are gold diggers, which is what I feel that people really think when I see like a lot of these comments on YouTube and the way that a lot of guys talk. Now, do I think that women don't care about money at all, or that there aren't women that are gold diggers? No, it's not true. But like the majority of women are definitely not gold diggers, and I would say that like a lot of money isn't really that important to them. If you want proof, just like go out in the world and look at people. Like the amount of people that are rich or super wealthy is a very small percent of the population. But guess what? Like most of the population are having kids, are getting laid. You know, at least they're like most of the population, if they're older, are at least not virgins. Like go around and go to like a normal city or normal town. There will be a ton of people that have kids that are not rich. It's pretty much proof right there. Another thing that I've personally noticed is, maybe this is just because of the particular people that I've known, but the people that the guys that I've known who get laid the most are usually the guys who are like the least responsible guys that have their shit together the worst. Like out of my old roommates, there was me and then 3 men. There were 4 guys living in the apartment. The guy out of us who by far got laid the most was the guy who was like, had his shit together the least. A bit of an alcoholic, but he got laid more than all of us, and he definitely had the least amount of money. And the reason is because he's the most like fun. Some other guys I've known that just get laid the most are guys that like party, they go out and drink a lot. Drug dealers, a lot of times, to be honest, like drug dealers get girls really easily, and it's just because they're the most fun. Now, maybe those guys, you know, girls aren't wanting to like have a relationship with them as much, but I'm sure a lot of girls do. Girls are emotional. Like if they really like a guy, they're probably gonna want to have a relationship with him, even if maybe the guy on paper isn't the best guy to be in a serious relationship with. A lot of times that happens, and a lot of times I think girls kind of care about money, but not in like a bad way. So I see it like this: if a girl wants a guy, like if a girl wants a serious relationship, and having a guy with a decent amount of money, a guy that can provide for her, is important to her, I actually just see that as kind of a smart thing. Like if you're a woman and you want to have kids, you want a serious relationship with a guy, well, it makes sense that you would want a guy that can provide, you know, like a house or an apartment in a safe part of the city, that has enough money to buy healthy food, that you can go to a neighborhood where the schools are better, that your family has enough money to where if there are medical issues that come up, that you can afford to pay for your kids. To me, that just makes sense. I don't really necessarily see that as a bad thing. And guess what? Like, if money is important to women, if you believe that, well, quit whining and go out and make money. In my opinion, like if you are like guys who are not, I think a lot of this mindset comes from guys who just don't really have the best social skills or don't have good skills with women, and as an excuse, it's like, oh well, I don't have money, all women care about is money. It's like, you know, it can be easier to say that than to actually admit, well, maybe my social skills aren't the best. You know, I've been playing video games and not going out for too long, or been going on dating apps, not going out and meeting people. Maybe I could go out and try to improve that. It's a lot easier to just be like, oh, women are evil, or all they care about is money. Another thing, I think it's unfair to say that because men have their own, you know, problems too that women could complain about. For instance, as men, we tend to care about superficial things like the way a woman looks. For most men, I'd say is pretty important, which is sort of a superficial thing too, but it makes sense because within our biology, the reason that like young, healthy, attractive looking girls were more attracted to them is because they're just more likely to produce, they're more likely to just be able to make healthy babies, to make more babies. This is a natural thing. And being a man that has money is now just a sign of like being able to provide for a family, basically. So of course it's natural that women will be attracted to a guy with resources. And another thing I believe, it's like, if you really believe that women just care about money, that's your problem. Go out and learn how to make more money. Like, that's pretty much it. In my opinion, it is much easier to learn how to make more money or to get more money than to actually get better with women if you're not good with women. I've put in a lot of work to both of them, and for me personally, like you can make money sitting in your freaking apartment or your bedroom and never leaving it from a laptop. That's really not that scary. To get better with women, you actually have to go out and socialize and talk to women. And if you're like I was when I was younger, that was like the most terrifying thing ever. Like, it would make me shake, it would make me sweat, super, super scary. For me, it was a lot harder, still is, to get better at like talking to women than to make money. If you live in the US, you can make a decent amount of money pretty freaking easily. You can learn all sorts of stuff for free online now. But I just think this mindset, like, even if it is true that a lot of women are gold diggers, they care about money or whatever, I just think that focusing on this and thinking about it is a horrible way to think. Even if the majority of women are like that, instead of thinking about that, just think about, hey, like, how can I find the women who are not like that? How can I find the good ones? Because they're definitely not all like that. Another thing I would say too is, like, if you want a very feminine woman, well, guess what a very feminine, like, traditional type of woman would do? Her, you know, quote unquote job is going to be to cook, to take care of the kids, to clean, things like that. If you want a woman who is like that, your job is to provide the money. That is your job. It's like if you were in a hunter-gatherer tribe, it'd be like saying, oh, all women care about is if we can bring food and like build shelter and things, or find water. It's like, it's nothing to complain about. It's something important. As a masculine man, if you want a feminine woman, that is your job in the relationship, is to make money and provide for the family. Now, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want a woman who is not as feminine or traditional like that, a woman who makes her own money and provides more half of the money in the relationship. That's fine. Especially if you live in the United States, super easy to find that. Really nothing to complain about. Another thing I would say is, I know with me personally, it kind of can rub me the wrong way about how, as a man, we're always supposed to kind of pay for everything. Like, if you go out to dinner, especially in the very initial stages of a relationship, you're kind of supposed to pay for everything. Sometimes that can kind of rub me the wrong way, but I think you got to look at it this way. Like, first of all, like I was saying, as a feminine woman and a masculine man, it's kind of your job to do those sort of things. And another thing I've realized is, one of the reasons women, they like when men do that, and obviously a lot of the times women, you know, they could just want a free meal or whatever, but if you're the type of guy that's attractive, women really like you. And I found I can be really cheap sometimes. Women hate it if you don't like offer to pay for something. That can be very unattractive. I've done it before and I've talked to them about it. And I think part of the reason is because, like I was saying, the masculine and feminine roles. But another thing is, I just think if you're not paying, you know, you go out for dinner, you don't pay for it, at least offer to pay. I think women can feel like they're not special to you. I really think that's a big part of it, is when you do little things like that, it's showing love, it's showing that you care about the woman, and it's just showing that you're a masculine man. And I think that's the big reason they care about it. But I really do not think that all women care about is money. You know, I've had no problem. I've been with a lot of really, really pretty girls over the years, and I've never really had that much money, to be honest. And I definitely do not think that all women are gold diggers. I think what men really need to do is to get out and socialize and quit complaining and quit focusing on negative things about women. I remember I read specifically one comment in a YouTube video. I think it was a video about dating in the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic's in Latin America. A lot of Latin America, the video specifically, I think, about like people in the United States dating people in Latin America. And the women in Latin America, they get a big stereotype for, using Westerners or people in the United States for their money, for a green card. And there probably are some women who are like that, but I definitely feel like the majority of women are not like that. I've dated a few women in Latin America. I've found that none of them are like that. None of the ones that I've dated were like that. I haven't encountered that. And I remember reading one comment. There was a girl in the video talking about something about like how those comments kind of hurt her, and how with her current boyfriend, it wasn't like that. Like money wasn't important. And some guy wrote something like, "Oh, but I bet when you were first together, like he was paying for everything, blah, blah, blah." And then she wrote a comment like, "No, we were like super young, we got together, we had no money. Both of us were working full time or something like that, and we could barely afford anything." And it's like having these just assumptions, and like, first of all, it's really, really rude and insulting to say that to someone that you don't even know. But just, I think guys really need to get these negative stereotypes out of their head. Like, quit following what the masses, what the normal people say. Like, you need to put in work, socialize, and just quit thinking negatively like that. It is not going to help you, even if it's true.